Igbo man with a gun is a IPOB member. But we are all doing ourselves. A Fulani man cash with a gun is a hunter. But a Delta State man cash with a gun is a militant. Why Fulani man where they cash with gun na herdsmen? But Igbo man where they cash with gun na IPOB terrorists. Who do us this thing, Nigeria? Nigeria, who do us this thing? It's time to open our eye. Nigeria, more open our eyes.
Hello everyone, welcome back. So my people, the incident that happened in Edo State, has brought a lot of things up. A lot of people are now coming out to speak out, to tell Nigeria government like what is going on in their communities. The painful part is that Nigeria government, they are not even interested in this matter when it comes to insecurity, because the level of silence from this Tinubu government when it comes to this Fulani Herdsmen matter is unbelievable. You guys know yesterday that Tinubu jet out to France, and today his vice jet out to Senegal. Like two of them are not in Nigeria. One Nigeria is on fire. Like sometimes what is going on in Nigeria is kind of a movie, honestly. And also, Nigerians have woken up and realized that this massive selective justice in Nigeria. So this is the reason why many people are now complaining that why is Tinubu not taking decisive action when it comes to Fulani Herdsmen? Just as this man said here that when he catch Fulani Herdsmen with gun, there are hunters. But if it's other people, there are terrorists. So the selective justice that is going on in Nigeria is really getting out of hand. Just as DSS director said that Nigerians need to protect and defend themselves against these terrorists, which I believe that Nigerians need to start doing that, because Nigeria government, they are not there to defend and protect us. So my people, in this particular video, you're going to hear what Lolo Nekachimeze said concerning what happened in Edo State, as well as the level of insecurity that is going on in Nigeria right now, especially when it comes to this Fulani Herdsmen. But before then, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for doing so.
Recall that we discussed it yesterday, but the imbalance has become so glaring that everyone is questioning what is going on in this country, and why are we not seeing that take prominence? Why are we just seeing some political schemisms taking place, right? Meanwhile, due to what transpired, right, in Edo State, well, the minority caucus of the House of Representatives, they are calling for adequate compensation for those who died in the mob attack on travelers at Uromi, Edo State. The caucus asked the president to order a thorough investigation into the incident and ensure that those found culpable are brought to justice. Now, you know that Monday Okpebulu has actually gone to visit the family of the 14 victims who were killed in that attack, and they provided them some financial support and assistance. Even the Kano state government as well has provided some financial support and assistance. Well, it's beyond that now. The minority caucus in the House of Representatives are saying that money should be given. So politics has entered into it. Money, it has become a monetized movement. Again, people have been dying across the nation. Benue, Southeast Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo State, Anambra. They have been dying in droves in their numbers. Nobody is paying compensation. They've been calling out these herdsmen. Nobody has been prosecuted. Nobody has been caught. Sometimes when they are caught, they are released. And people are now deciding to take it upon themselves to protect themselves, because as it stands, it feels like there is a deliberate attempt for a certain quarter of the federal government to remain quiet while persons are killed indiscriminately like they're pawns in a chessboard by political bureaucrats. How are you?
I'm good.
You've heard the hot topics we're looking into this evening.
Yes.
Let's start off with the situation in Uromi. That is not the only place that things are going on. In Enugu, just yesterday, in the communities, several communities have been displaced. Almost about 200 communities across the southeast have been displaced. These Fulani terrorists and marauders have taken over people's farmlands. They've displaced a lot of settlers. Young men have been killed. If you go to the southeast right now, you see mostly women and children, because the men are no longer there. Either they've been killed off or some of them have migrated. The young boys are no longer even in that particular axis. So in that region, they are fighting the security being conscripted around there, which is the Nigerian military, right? They're also fighting Fulani terrorists. It feels like the state governors do not know what to do. Now, in Benue State, there was also a protest in regards to the displacement of their communities and the consistent recurrence of herdsmen attacks in their community. we are not hearing social media influencers, specifically from a certain geographical location, calling on these Fulani terrorists to stop their acts. We've not heard anyone handing down the gavel, giving a warning like they were outraged last week for the 16 persons that were killed. So are we saying that there is a silent support of these terrorists killing people and taking over farmlands? Because according to what Obadiah Melaifa said, he said it feels like what is going on is like a jihadist agenda. That's what he said before he died.
Now, Esther, I've said it before. There seems to be a civil war going on in Nigeria where some were armed and some were not. This civil war is being carried out in guerrilla style. It's like they felt they've conquered Southeast and they're moving to South. All right? You know, the Nigerian state has always perceived South, and Southeast as Igbo. But now they prefer to do it by divide and rule.
All right.
Don't let them come together and fight or speak with one voice. Just deal with these people, move on to these people, and deal with these people. Now, how can in a country where a certain tribe is terrorizing a whole nation, nobody says anything about it? They don't kill and run away. They kill and stay. You understand? There's an outcry, and security operative does nothing about it. The federal government says nothing about it. And then when it's the other way around, there's an outcry and threats. The most annoying part of it is the threats from these parts of the country. Now, in Enugu State, like yesterday, almost about 4 villages had been sacked. It's all over the news. You won't see our president say anything. You won't see the Senate president say anything. You won't see the IG of police say anything. You won't see the military say anything. But once it is the other way around, they're all over the place. Now, the question now is, have we now legalized weapon in this country?
Legalized weapons for certain persons?
Yeah, exactly. No, for certain person. I can imagine getting 26 Easterners traveling in a truck with weapons, and they are leased this way. The outcry will be the other way around. We've caught them. They are IPOP. They are the ones doing this. You will see them IPOP. You will see the outcry. It will be as if those that were killed were not humans. Now, I condemn in totality the jungle justice. I condemn in totality.
Okay.
Even if they were kidnappers, true, even if they were armed robbers, since they have, but you know, the anger and rage, I mean, in the village, remember, these villagers have been losing human beings like these 16 people that were killed.
Yes.
So the anger of losing your loved ones to this particular set of people, and they have been crying. Is that now when they accuse them, they don't deny it
at all.
People know they are them. The federal government don't do anything. They don't deploy security operatives to protect these people. Now they manage to catch these people, and they caught them with weapons. I mean, it is weapon they used to attack them.
They said they presented evidence to documents for that weapon.
I read what the driver of that truck is a Dangote truck.
Yes, a Dangote truck.
Why would a Dangote driver convert Dangote truck to something he will use to convey travelers? I mean, we have transport vehicles.
So they are hunters. Are they hunt? Maybe they are hunting for Dangote.
Since when did hunters start traveling en masse on the road? With in Nigeria of today, with this security situation in Nigeria, and you are traveling with guns on the road, and you are telling us you want to go and hunt. Do you hunt on the road? You are traveling to Kano. Why must you move with your gun? Esther, I can assure you, those guys were Fulani Herdsmen or Boko Haram. You know, there has been influx of this military in Nigeria. Let's not call them Fulani Herdsmen, because when you call them Fulani Herdsmen, you are glorifying them. They are militia. They are Boko Haram that were moved tonight. Now they've left the north. They've moved to the east. They are in the bush, attacking and sacking villagers. Now, yes, we can condemn the mob attack. We can condemn the jungle justice, but the outrage is as if you are now encouraging those of them in the bush to continue to kill.
with the way the government
At least
responded.
the police should query the carrying of weapons, because what made them attack these people were the carrying of arms.
Do you know the governor?
And then the pride, because they said when they were asking them questions, I'm sure if they had comported themselves, they brought out knife.
Yes, they brought out the knife first.
I am sure the federal government would have loved it more if these people had opened fire on the vigilante and killed all the vigilantes. I'm sure it wouldn't even make much of any sense, because they've been killing.
And it's like people are used to it.
People are used to it. People are so helpless. Let me tell you, Esther, I keep saying it. There is an agenda in this country we don't know. Those that established APC, they came with an agenda. Either to Islamize Nigeria. You understand? Hiding under Fulani Herdsmen ethnic. Remember, our president is a Muslim.
But I don't think, but he's a liberal. He's a liberal person. His wife is not a Muslim.
Most of these attacks is on Christians. Check the states.
Not in all instances. In the north as well. There are some communities where they are Muslims, where these headsmen and these Fulani terrorists kill them off.
Esther, we need to confirm that. We need to verify that. You never can tell.
We've seen them go to the mosque and slaughter people. We've heard of those reports.
Probably those that were against them. But I can assure you, the attack is more predominantly in Christian-dominated areas.
Yes.
Benue, for instance, since 2015 till today, Benue have had no peace. Now the question is it difficult for the federal government to provide security for Benue people?
I don't know.
And now when these people rise to organize themselves, you are using one excuse to put fear. Because of course, with what is happening now, I was thinking that they should tactically handle it.
Exactly.
Get people arrested, investigate, question why these people should move with arms. Are you sure this man will not go and drop them somewhere and they will go and attack? No, when the outrage put fear in people to even comment with what is in their mind. Okay, now the military and the police is now going to sack a whole village because of 16 people. Now these attacks have been in the north. Deborah, for instance, the Christian girl that was murdered. Now there were security tips that this girl is going to be killed. This girl was murdered in broad daylight. People videoed it and showed it live. It took over 3 hours for them to finish the lynching. Where were these security operatives? It happened live on Facebook.
Yes, they were doing videos. They were streaming it brazenly.
And we saw faces of people that did this. Till today, I'm not sure anybody has been arrested or prosecuted. That's number one.
In fact, one of the president's aide at the time, Bashir Ahmed, said he supported it. Yes, he supported it.
They defended it because the school management was alerted. Some Christians tried to move even before the young woman. Remember, the problem started on social media.
Yes.
So it was a conversation on social media.
Yeah.
And then
on WhatsApp.
Yes, it started building up. The conversation left the WhatsApp to school, to the classroom. Now, they reported to the school authorities. The school actually supported the lynching of this young woman. Now, the police did not investigate the school authorities, their involvement in the lynching. And the village where this young woman was lynched was not attacked. There were no arrests. They did not move in to arrest everybody in the village, all right, for them to bring justice. Now, in Oromi, rather than them coming down, I mean, the vigilante, they know the vigilante.
Yes, they knew.
There were members of this vigilante.
Yes.
Why not go for the members of this? Why attacking the whole village? Why putting fear in the whole village? Why sacking the whole village? Now, is our president trying to tell us something? That some people are untouchable, are actually armed to attack. So, that's why I said the APC government should tell us what they want with Nigerian government, with Nigerian state. You cannot arm some people. Even our former president, when people were actually worried about the Fulani Herdsmen carrying AK-47, he came out to defend that cattle rustling. There has never been any incident of cattle rustling in the southeast. There has never been any incident of cattle rustling in the south, and I'm not sure there has been any incident of cattle rustling in the southwest. So why carrying gun when nobody is attacking you? Why carrying gun? So they hit. There's an agenda to wipe out some people and take over. I think the federal government wants to settle the Fulanis.
Settle them what?
Yes.
How?
They want to, yes. How? Are you asking me? Now that the Fulanis are sacking people and taking over their villages, and the federal government and security operatives are not doing anything about it.
Lolo, the northeast, the north central, the southeast, the south, all these regions are being affected by these terrorists. I would have expected the National Assembly, just like how they were quick to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, to quickly suspend Natasha Akpoti, create an opportunity for an investigation to be closed, swiftly ensure that her recall process began, that the National Assembly would have actually called for a state of emergency on insecurity. I would have expected that the senators and House of Rep members from the constituencies that these Fulani terrorists are part of come out to publicly condemn the act of this thing. Nobody's talking about it.
Now, Esther, you must know that everybody is afraid.
Afraid of what?
This government has caged the judiciary, which is the last hope of the common man.
No, I'm coming. Where I'm heading is this. We have the Benue senators. We have Enugu senators. We have Imo senators, Anambra senators. All these states that these herdsmen consistently ravage, their senators are in the National Assembly. My question is, how are they caged to bring out a bill, to bring out a motion notifying the National Assembly that we are going through an existential crisis? Nobody is talking about it. This is the document. These are visual evidence to prove that these individuals are mutilating our crops, displacing persons from their homeland. Farming activities cannot take place because of these terrorists. And you're telling me that they are caged? Is that not their responsibility to present the plight and represent the interests of the people that voted them in there? Or were they not voted in?
Okay, let me answer you. Several occasions, these people have tried to sponsor bills and it's thrown into the trash bin. Number one, there have been serious outcry for Nnamdi Kalu's release.
Okay.
So many senators have raised it on the floor of the National Assembly, on the floor of a House of Representatives. It has been thrown into the trash bin. You see what happened when they raised a bill to immortalize Humphrey Nwosu. At least the man that announced the June 12th results, the election results. You saw what somebody stood up to say, that the person that he announced won is now the symbol of democracy. But the man that risked his life to announce the result,
he did not announce it. They said he did not announce it.
If he did not announce it, how did you now know that Abiola won? How did Abiola win?
Professor Nwosu wrote a book. He wrote a memoir where he detailed everything.
Wait, no, now, Esther, see, you know, there is a section of this country, some parts of them, that the way they heartlessly lie and change history, you make it ask if they are human beings. How can you say Humphrey Nwosu did not announce results? Now, how did Abiola win? If Humphrey Nwosu had cancelled that result, there wouldn't be any Abiola. This last election, Mahmoud announced a result and announced a winner, who the whole Nigerians know did not win the election. It says because somebody announced it. If Mahmoud, in his own wisdom, had said, "Oh, this election is not well conducted," and cancel it, no winner will emerge. They are so heartless to deny the man that announced the result that made MKO Abiola the face of democracy. I did not agree with that, but I mean, this is what was done. Nobody is saying make Humphrey Nwosu as Humphrey Nwosu the face of democracy. Okay. All right, but at least recognize, I mean, the effort he made, because he was under pressure to cancel that election. And if I'm sure, you know, that is one thing with our Igbo people. Our Yoruba brothers have never reciprocated the support we've been giving to them. In fact, I don't know whether they want us to vanish from this country.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
You may say the APC supporters.
I don't know. Even before
For
now,
them, okay.
There were the Awolowo followers. They hate Igbos with passion, and unfortunately, our current government is part of Awolowo followers, and that is why you see this much hatred about the Igbos. How can somebody write if the person has said, no need? If I had made a president, but to say he did not announce the election, if he did not announce the election, how did Abiola now win the election? So this is, and we're all Southerners. No, so these are part of the challenges.
Do they have fertile land in the north? I need to understand why you leave your entire territory. The north has one of the vastest land mass in this country, and they have a good soil for planting.
The southeast has one of the vegetation in the whole Nigeria.
When you say vegetation, like greenery,
yes,
green vegetation,
yes, and the vegetable from southeast is very rich. If you use a vegetable, if you pluck a vegetable from the southeast and southwest, the taste is different. Even the water is equally different. All right. So because of that, and in the north, north doesn't really have rain that much. They don't have that much green.
Yeah.
Yes.
But things like yam, potato, tomato, those things that grow more during the dry season.
The point is that I don't know why it is like that. If you plant and nurture it, it grows. But if I've been to the north, I attended ABU.
I schooled there too. I did my secondary school there.
If you look at their land, you don't see more of green vegetation like you see in the south. If you don't see more of water like you see in the south, it's kind of more of dry
and
land,
hot.
and not that it cannot be made to be better, but they don't want to do it. I think the north has a way of wanting to do business and make gains in a platter of gold.
Okay. Do you think this is going on?
Look at how expensive cows are.
Very expensive.
1.5 million, 2 million for one cow, and you cannot spend money to plant grasses all over north. Move to a particular area, because in the north there were vast land that are not being used, that are not being cultivated. The whole of north cannot be able to cultivate their land. You can imagine them saying, it is so funny that they are so selfish that they will come out to boast and make mockery of the south. That one state in the north is bigger than the entire south.
Yes, they say that. El-Rufai said that.
Yeah, the same region you said is so small is a dot. You're also coming, to bring your cow to also graze on their little land. Now, how do they expect them to survive? They want to make us slaves who must depend on them for food, because they've made it impossible for us to cultivate on our land, and they have to come and graze on our crops to now to grow their cow and sell. I saw a video where these Fulani Herdsmen were uprooting cassava.
Yes.
And
from
the owners
farms
of this farm were helpless, videoing them and sending this video out live. We saw the faces of these people doing this thing. What have the federal government do? Remember, if you kill a cow, they will kill human being, but they can uproot crops and nobody will kill them.
Do you know that there was a bandit attack in Ondo earlier in March where they killed 20 farmers? 5 farmers were killed in a fresh attack in Ondo. However, the government came and dismissed the herdsmen attack. The government quickly came and dismissed it. But, residents were angry over the displacement of some of their community members and the fact that they can't go to their farms because of these Fulani terrorists who are heading. My question is, the Southwest were able to organize Amotekun, actively put them to ensure that this thing stopped. The other time, in one of the Southwest states, they saw 2 trucks loads of persons coming from the north. They were dumped there. They said during investigation, they asked them questions. What are you doing here? They said they do not know. All of them seemed to be under some form of hypnosis. Said only a few of them said somebody took them from where they come from the north, put them in the truck and brought them here and told them to wait for instructions. Now, the state government and the security operatives during the investigation with a lot of policemen put them back in the truck and told them they should go back to where they are coming from. Thank God that they did not release any onslaught or mayhem based on whatever instructions that they were waiting for. The question is that no state in this country is off the onslaught of these Fulani terrorists. The southwest, the southeast, the south, the middle belt, everyone has been calling the attention of the federal government. My question is, why has the federal government not responded? You can hear what happened in Enugu state just yesterday. The Benue protest. I have not heard the president through any of his media aid send a warning, just like he responded to the mob action immediately that took place on Friday. It's like they were also scared of any reprisal attack because the social media influencers from that extraction were making threats. They were saying that they were giving the government of Edo State 24 hours to produce the culprits. Otherwise, they were literally making threats.
Have you listened to when IPOP make threats to federal government? What happens in the southeast? They will go from house to house to arrest our youth. If they make threats, you get it. And now remember, our president is from the southwest. Of course, you will believe that their massacre operation operating freely, they're under the cover of the federal government. Now, in the south,
we have Ibubiago, we have Operation Udogachi in Anambra State in support of the state government.
There are limits to what you can do. The federal government is clamping down on anybody that will mess up. Governor, look at what happened in Rivers State. And even the Attorney General also made threat that if any state governor messes up, you'll be in a state of emergency. In fact, this government operates with so much impunity that you will know.
But it's not only Lolo, wait, let's stay on topic. It's not only this administration that was lackadaisical in treating and dealing with this herdsmen terrorist attack. The previous administration literally did not even make any response. And I think that was when these individuals became as brazen as they were.
That was from 2015?
From 2015, yes. It's taking the effort of governors to... That was what gave the impulse to some state governors to begin to create security agencies for themselves that can deal with this issue. My question is, I don't think this has to do with... This should not be a thing of politics. This is a thing of national concern.
Now, the national concern and politics goes hand in hand.
What is the political gain of this thing?
I think it's beyond politics. I think it's about grabbing people's land. I think it's about taking over Nigeria. Esther, look, come to think of it. How can there have been several killings? You understand? Even when security operatives are fingered. For instance, look at what's happened in the southeast. The military men will be attacked on the road. So exactly what is happening in Edo State. They will turn their gun on the village they were brought to protect. And sack them from there. We have more than 10 villages in the southeast that were sacked by the military, not Fulani Herdsmen. What happened? Not that the villagers attacked them. Like the Urumi incident. Let's assume the vigilante belongs to the village. The village owns the vigilante. But in the southeast, I want to tell you the trend on sacking villages that even the government themselves are also cooperating in this. For instance, in the southeast, where now they first of all engaged, as many people also came out recently to also say more about his killings in the southeast. Now the federal government engaged a criminal and
he said it was a contract
and pushed them to southeast. Now when this we now later found out that these criminals were the ones that does this. It was when they had a fallout with the military. They started fighting internally. Probably they were attacking the military. Now what did the military do? Remember, they said they moved them there to protect the people so that people can relax, sit at home. But when they were now attacked by the so-called criminals who we don't know where they come from and we know they are non-state actors, they will now turn their gun on the villagers, sacking villagers, not just sacking villagers, going from house to house, arresting men and killing men. Military, let them come out and deny it. The same thing happened in Edo State. I mean, there were security concerns, and people. It's not the first place mob attack is happening. That's happened in Lagos when mob catches a thief or felt threatened.
Yes,
there's a tendency that they will take laws into their, which we condemn in totality. We've been condemning it. But why is this one different? You get it now. Look at what is happening. These people caught these people with arms. And if you tell me that those guys were hunters traveling from, they are not, no bush in the north to hunt again.
I don't know.
Why would they move from north to go and hunt in south? Where is even the bush to hunt in the south? South that is full of water and so what are they hunting? They want crocodiles. Now you finish hunting, you want to travel home to go and see your people. You will now take your gun. Are they going to hunt? Now these people saw them and interrogated them and find out that these people, they can't even defend their mission in that place. They took laws into their hands. And remember, the leader of the vigilante took the driver and one other man to the police station to report. All right, before he could come back, the mob
had actually
angry. Probably somebody who has lost his mother, lost his brother, and so once they saw this people,
you just took advantage.
They now leached
Lolo,
now,
okay.
I'm coming. Let me finish the analysis. On doing this, the police, the federal government, that this outcry now went to start sacking the village, because are they saying that they don't know that their method of arrest will ultimately make people run? And all the vigilante very act would have fled. That was the argument we're having in the southeast. Do you think even if the people that perpetrated that act were from the village, they will still be there?
They will not be there. That's what they're saying.
So
that it's the innocent people that are being carried out now.
Ask police and the military this question. Is it proper to attack innocent people, to attack everybody because two people committed crime? You now attack everybody. I think it is high time we start condemning it as Nigerians. For instance, did it happen to any of us?
Yes, Lolo, hold on. In 2023, precisely in April, 74 persons in two separate attacks by gunmen in Benue State, north central Nigeria, were killed by those people. That's not the first time. In 2024, we reported the same thing. Several killings in that axis. In Jos, Bokos, Mango local government area. An entire community swept off. Houses burnt. Everything turned to ashes. We've not heard that one of them has been taken to the court or prosecuted. Well, I am coming, Lolo, because we don't want to isolate this case. This is no longer politics, like I said. These individuals are going into every area. We saw what happened in Ebonyi very lately. They said it was
the federal government is turning a blind
eye. They said it was a communal clash. They called it a communal clash.
That's what they're trying to do in the Southeast.
We saw what happened in Enugu State. You saw what's going on right now in Edo State, in Benue State, in Jos Plateau State, in Taraba as well. It hasn't stopped. In Kebbi State as well. In Yobe State. In Bauchi State, there, it's not the farmlands right now. They're recruiting the youths to join their terrorist group. So my question is, if the Nigerian military, because I watched the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, in an international interview, and they asked him, do you need help? Do you need more men? Do you think you're capable of handling this insecurity? He said yes. He said all they needed was the support of the United Nations to help them track the hard currencies. That's what he said. To provide them with gadgets and all whatnot to fight this. If the Nigerian military says that they are capable, they have the capacity to handle this, why are we seeing a resurgence of this attack? That's one from the angle of the Nigerian military. The second thing to also consider, while they are fighting Boko Haram and Lakurawa in the northeast and the north central, we've seen a lot of those barracks taken over by these terrorists. I don't even know how they know the checkpoints of these individuals, the Nigerian army, where they are settled. And right now, there have been outcry, a recent protest being organized in Benue State, and the National Assembly has not addressed this. So what are they afraid of?
Our Senate president was quick to condemn the Euro, but the protest. Now, the funny part of it is, these people are not carrying arms. They are not burning houses. They are crying out for the killing, and the people killing them are not hidden. They are human beings, and the police are threatening to shoot them. Esther, this is beyond politics. There is more to this. I can assure you there is more to this. The federal government is quick to trace the sponsors of IPOP. All right. The federal government is quick to arrest Nnamdi Kanu, trace him from here to Kenya, arrest him, but they can't arrest.
They can't deploy the intelligence.
They were quick to quell IPOP, but they can't quell Boko Haram. Even the international community has declared Fulani Herdsmen the fourth deadliest group in the world.
Even the Nigerian courts have called them terrorists.
Nobody, the federal government have not even uttered a word, threat, or said anything. And I say we are here joking about it.
Nobody's joking about it. It's not a joke.
I tell you, and I'm surprised that some Christians leaders have kept mute.
No, Lolo, I'm going to discountenance you there. Very recently,
tell me how many of them
very recently, one of the Catholic bishops, actually, because they've been following this case, traveled all the way to, I think, is it Turkey or where? Is it Turkey or where Pope Francis resides? Italy or France, one of those areas. In Rome, exactly. There's been an investigation into the killings in Benue in Edo State as well. One of the Catholic bishops actually gave a deep recount. We talked about it here on the Political Spotlight. I remember that was the same day that the president met with Bishop Matthew Kuka and a couple of the Archbishop dioceses at Aso Rock. In fact, this was last week or 2 weeks ago, very recent. While the president was meeting with them, this particular panel was being set up, where the United States of American government has actually disclosed that Christians are mostly persecuted in Nigeria. So the Catholic Church has actually taken it. They gave a detailed record of all the killings. Yes.
How many Christian domination do we have in this country? We have Redeem, whose leader has been very vocal, participated in bringing in this government. Have you heard them say anything about the killings? Anything about the state of the nation? We have a Winners Chapel, we have a Trem, we have more than 1,000 Christian denominations. Why can't they come together? Because these killings is for me is stating towards they hid under Boko Haram, Fulani Herdsmen, and they are persecuting Christians. Even the American government have noticed.
Yes, they released an official report
the persecution in the southeast is 99% Christians, and the persecution in the southeast you can't equal it to anything. Where the federal government themselves ostracize pushing military into southeast in disguise. And moving militaries, and militaries were doing the killing.
But it was through the it was a state governor that called for it. The state governor called for it.
Now,
Governor Hope Uzodimma was the one that invited them, said that the state was not safe.
If that was only in Imo State, where were the whole southeast militarized? All right. Now, if the state government call for, there's nothing wrong in you calling for backup because of security reasons.
Okay.
Now, where in this country have military moved to kill and sack villages? Okay. Now, the killing and the atrocities they committed in the southeast, from our findings. Now, the killing in this country from 2015 to date is more than the pogrom and the civil war combined. But because these killings are done in guerrilla style, and we can't ascertain the number of people that were killed, so they are systematic. They have this systematically. These governments have systematically. The government of APC I call the government of APC because when they formed this party, it was this party that began to divide Nigeria. Look at federal character. They have completely removed Southeast from everything. Look at the current posting by the police commission.
You remember when Sunday Igboho, you remember how Sunday Igboho became someone that you would call notorious because he was vocal during the 2020 when the entire world was on lockdown due to COVID-19, and there were attacks in that particular region where Sunday Igboho resides. He was very vocal. He actually conscripted a couple of security persons to protect their community and their farmlands. In fact, it was Sunday Igboho that became very vocal as to the entrenchment of these Fulani terrorists right into their community, and he took it upon himself to start protecting his community. Sunday Igboho has actually gone far, he has mentioned quite a lot of these atrocities at the time. I remember them under the Buhari administration. They invaded his home, they killed some persons in his home, took his passport and all of that. That was when he tried to flee the country, and he was caught in Benin Republic. My question is this: like I said, since 2015, these ongoing killings have been ongoing, and it's no longer about one particular ethnic group or the other, because if these individuals intend to organize a reprisal attack, they're not going to look at you that you're from the southeast or southwest or south. Anybody who is not a northerner, to them is the same thing. So why has the Attorney General of the Federation, why has the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, why has the DSS, the SSS, the Nigerian Army, the Inspector General of Police, I have not seen a letter, a communication, I don't know, something to indicate that they have now picked interest into this and they need to synergize and work together to stop it. That's one. Two, all the northern governors who have been hearing the outcry of people from several communities that they have kept quiet. All the northern influencers, all the northern influencers on social media, both former aides and present aides, why are they not saying anything? It is the ordinary Nigerians who are really, they have their family members who reside on how they eat from these farmlands. They're the ones raising alarm. My question is, shouldn't there be a collective responsibility from that arm of government to the people? Is that not the reason why they were elected there, to provide for them, to ensure that their social welfare is covered, provide infrastructure, lead them rightly? Why are we having this imbalance? Because that's why we want to have this conversation.
You know, when you have a target and a plan, no matter the outcry, of course you won't listen, because you have already made up your mind. You've already decided on what to do. You know, like the former president said, good Lord Jonathan, he said, when somebody is sleeping, you can easily wake somebody that is sleeping. But when somebody pretends to be sleeping, if you like, make noise because he wants to be sleeping.
Okay.
Now, for me, from our findings, because we followed this from 2022 till now,
yes,
the body language of the federal government is, they are the ones that have put this thing up. Because if these people are killing and you are not doing anything about it, look at, there was a killing in Enugu State that made the former governor to put up the neighborhood watch. There were tips. The governor tried to call. These Fulani people saw them in broad daylight when they were making the plan. He called the military. He called police. He contacted the federal government. They did not respond until this village, I think I got to killing. Until this village they attacked, because that was what made Buruburu at the time to cry when he visited the area. So it's like they knew what is going on, so they're not going to do anything about it. Remember, that was why IPOP was crushed. IPOP is like Nnamdi Kanu had this tip off, and that was what he was saying, that there's a plan. So when IPOP were in the bush, the ECN or something, the Fulani, they didn't give them chance. They chased them away. You will remember, it was after they started hunting down the ECN that the Fulani stuff rise very much in the southeast. You get it? So it's like I keep saying it, the Christian community should wake up.
But these killings,
the international community to help.
These killings beyond the Christian community. In the southwest, you have those who practice Islam, and their communities are being raided.
The outside does not believe that the southwest that practice Islam are real true Muslims. They don't consider them as true Muslims. That's the truth. The outside does not really consider the Yorubas as true Muslim. Go and meet a Yoruba Muslim and they will tell you.
Why would that be?
But,
is it not the same God they serve?
They say they are not straightforward.
How is it that they're not straightforward? Because they are educated and accommodating?
It's not that they're educated. I think that is the Yorubas knew. The Yoruba Muslims knew. It's not a hidden,
No, there are ways to practice religion that is accommodating without isolating.
If you look at, but that's not the way they understood it. If you look at the attack right now, the attack is more on south and southeast. It has gone down in the southwest.
No. Very recently, in March, early March,
in the last,
20 farmers were killed.
Esther, in the last 1 year, this is about, maybe if you hear attacks in the southeast 50 times, you hear in the south 50 times, you hear it in the southwest 2 times. The southwest is more in terms of Fulani attacks and all these attacks. The southwest is more peaceful than the southeast and south.
Lolo, in January, a sleeper cell of certain foreigners were found. I think somewhere in Ogun State or Osun State. I don't know where about. The DSS were interrogating them. In fact, they didn't let people know for a very long time because they needed to get all the information they could get. They were in that forest, a lot of them, and they were interrogating them because they feel that there are sleeper cells in a couple of regions in Nigeria. Possibly they're waiting for whatever. The Nigerian DSS were actually trying to collect intelligence from them.
Recently discovered somewhere.
Yes, that is the thing. So the question is, why are we not having that conversation up there? We are having the conversation here. Why are we not having it up there? The kind of conversations we're only hearing is about towards 2027 or obstructing certain persons who decide to be vocal, like what happened in Kogi State today, where Natasha couldn't be allowed to come for her rally. She had to come through a chopper. On the ground, the police already barricaded, but she came in through a chopper, and the people decided to come out regardless. They weren't constrained. They came out to support her, to welcome her. So at this point in time, what should be the priority of those who represent us? It's quite important because as it stays now, the Take It Back movement has announced a nationwide protest against the state of emergency rule in Rivers, as well as the state of insecurity in the country, the recurrent attacks of herdsmen in certain regions, particularly in the country. Benue State, for example, Edo States, Enugu States, Imo States. These states have been consistently attacked by Fulani terrorists that call themselves herdsmen. We know in the northeast and the north central and in Zamfara and all the likes, it is Lakurawa and Boko Haram that they have been facing. And I feel the Nigerian military is really concentrated there because that place seems to be like they're going through what you call intense warlike situation. So the concentration of the Nigerian military is there, and the Air Force. So my question is, why are we not seeing this as a focus of priority from those up there?
Those you call Fulani Herdsmen and what have you,
terrorists, they're not herdsmen.
They are terrorists. Maybe the Zamfara and the up north is their headquarters, where they recruit their members and they push them down south. You get what I'm talking about now? Like I think if the security operatives, if they should be searching the long trucks that move from the north to the south, they will stop a lot of these movements. Because from what we discovered, those that were transported through Dangote truck, it now shows, instead of the police to now look at what they are doing with the long trucks, what are they moving from north to south, from south to north with the long truck in disguise of moving goods? No, they are now busy arresting. Now it shows, what it now shows is that up north is their headquarters, where they are recruiting these people. And they now why the war is more there is, you know, they said these people move from the lake and stuff.
Yes.
So they move more in the north. They are more there, and they train them there. So the tendency that the military is seeing more of them, more of action there, is true. But the point is that we should understand that this is not Fulani Herdsmen.
Okay.
This is not. This is more of a terrorist attack being recruited from the northern part of the country down to the southern part of the country. And from our findings, the silence and the taking side of the federal government shows that there is a plan on ground why the federal government would turn a blind eye to the actions of these terrorists when they are in the south, because they are fighting them in the north as terrorists, but in the south it's like they're supporting them. Because if they've now been moved to the south, because we've been with Fulani Herdsmen for donkey years, we've not, and we only started having this attack when Boko Haram came up, and they now hide under Fulani Herdsmen to carry out these attacks. And now, why have the federal government not taken a sure step to stop all these attacks when they are not hiding? The most annoying part of it is this attack they will start attacking one village. It doesn't happen in 1 hour, in 2 hours, in 3 hours, in 5 hours. Now the attack will be on. It's like the police having a tip off of the mob attack. I've seen where police have heard about mob attack. They will move in quickly.
Yes.
To stop the attack and save the individual. We've seen several occasions where militaries have or police have saved
people. Yes.
Now, why is it that these attacks will go on for a long time and they will call police in the east today? If anything is happening in the east and you call military, they will not respond.
Are you very
They will not respond. People have complained when they were attacked very close to military checkpoint and someone is able to escape. As you are reporting to the military, they look on their faces. If you don't take your time, they will shoot you joy. These are the things that happen in the southeast. So why are the federal? It's like the federal government and the military are providing security for these people. And you're telling me there is nothing more. There is more to it.
It's the lack of reaction that is giving this perception like they are being protected. For example, now this Take It Back movement, which is supposedly they're supposed to converge in front of the National Assembly to ensure that the state of emergency in Rivers State is taken off and that the situation with insecurity in the country is actually dealt with. A couple of persons already, a certain ethnic group should not be part of it before they will call them that IPOB has taken over it or certain elements have taken over the protest. For example, if you check online, some reactions are already like, if this is not bad, if people want to protest, but somebody now converged it and said if IPOB decides to take over the protest, the military should delve in immediately. So the question is, why are you calling a certain group of persons, and how are they going to be part or how are they taking over the protest? As it stands now, the recent End Bad Governance protest, the Southeasterners were not part of it because they don't want it to tag it to seem as if it was them that took over, like what happened during the NSAS. When you keep on having this division amongst ethnic groups, how are we going to have that collective recall to hold the government responsible or hold them accountable to what their priorities should be?
Now the question is, whoever is saying IPOP, who are these IPOP? Where are the IPOP? They've tactically, what we from the Southeast doesn't know is that they've tactically termed the whole of Southeast IPOP. That's what it is. So if anybody comes out to protest in the Southeast, it is IPOP.
Well, they no longer participate in any more in protests.
No, if you know you are not IPOP, don't come and protest. That's what it means. And again, anybody coming to protest to what end? You can only protest to a government that will listen. Remember, protest is a way people communicate to their government. In the last, from 2015 till now, people have tried to protest. Remember the NSAS protest. How did it end? In fact, they also termed it Igbo protest. Remember the hunger protest. How did it end? Now the problem is the people trying to protest. How strong Nigeria is so divided that once we start the protest, if Igbos come out, Yorubas will withdraw. And start maligning. Yes, they will turn it. The NSAS started in Edo and spread down to Lagos. Everybody was so excited about it because the SARS were disturbing people and Igbos joined. What? Yorubas withdraw and the next minute they were saying Igbos want to destroy their Lagos. Did you hear it? It took Babayo Adebanjo of blessed memory, Soyinka, and some good Yoruba leaders. There were quite some good Yoruba leaders.
Yes.
And there were quite some
these elders. Yes.
These Awo followers.
Yes.
The ones that are out for the Igbos. When the thing turned, they now wrote, I read it. They circulated it that nobody should touch the Igbos and their properties. Now, is this how we are going to protest and speak with one voice as a nation? Now, if you are the Igbo, look, no protest will amount to anything if Igbo doesn't join.
No, don't say that. The End Bad Governance protest. They protested silently.
I'm telling you.
They sat at home.
I'm telling you, Igbos are the ones that have the mind to push these things. And I can assure you, any Igbo man coming out to do any protest, I don't know what you are looking for. Because they are in fact, they are looking for, there are some set of Yorubas that are looking for something.
No.
Except, not all of them. Listen,
just say some administration supporters.
Go to social media handles. They have even gone outside the country to blackmail the Igbos. In South Africa,
we heard that in South Africa, yes.
There was
we
a
heard
WhatsApp
that.
meeting.
Yes.
A Yoruba person went to South Africa to tell them to kill the Igbo. They are the ones causing problem. And the woman, a South African, was now asking, there were Igbos, and how are you sure? How do you know it's Igbos? And the woman blasted. It's a Yoruba person.
But the question
Look at
is,
our diaspora, whatever. Abike Dabre. What should, in fact, it was Abike Dabre that raised the game. Even in Ghana, what is happening to the Igbos in Ghana? It was Abike Dabre that carried that campaign.
Lolo,
Even there was a time she went to Canada. There was a time she went to Canada to also do that. So there are some of them, like I said, there were some good meaning Yorubas who felt all Southerners should come together, you know, and speak with one voice, so that the overriding power of the North, you know, will at least be neutralized a little bit. There were some good, but there were some of them that are dangerously
those are supporters. Those are the blind supporters who don't see evil and call out evil. That's why I said we should not generalize.
So they are looking for siesta. They were looking for
generalize these
things.
Were
looking for. In fact, there was a platform where they were having meeting. They were holding their leaders to let them attack the Igbos in Lagos. So they're looking for just a small thing that would cause another problem of Igbos.
It's for example, Lolo, it's quite unfortunate. You have the bio-nonigas who steer this kind of division.
It's not only bio, we have Ruben Abati, we have
who steer this kind of division, and it's wrong. If you go on X or social media, you see aides of the current administration, specifically in Lagos, aiding and abetting,
and
this.
Then the president, when I say dies a plan. You know, when a government decides to go to sleep while his country is in flames, he's away. Probably
that's why I said this inciting statements, this ethnic division and inciting conversations that takes place on social media, particularly X. If you go on X right now, you will see anything is politicized and tribalized. And I would have expected that government agencies come out and say, stop this. Don't keep quiet, because it has festered for so long that the division, the disunity has become so apparent right now. And it's bad. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. These people are meant to call for unity. These people are meant to call for unism. But when you have government agents supporting raising divisive statements or ethnic bigotry and all whatnot, it makes you wonder, why are we like this? And we're supposed to be educated, we're supposed to be enlightened. Nigeria has gotten to a point where at least it's not like how it was in those days where the channels of information were extremely limited. There are various avenues for information right now, and we are not supposed to have that kind of inaptitude or ineptitude from certain government representatives. It's quite unfortunate, Lolo.